Good morning.
Good morning.
We're here at the Evansville Wartime Museum in Evansville, Indiana. And we have a distinguished guest with us that we're going to interview. And the guest is going to tell us his full name.
Lee Premge.
We spell it out.
Lee Premge is P as in Peter, R-A-N-G-E,
And spell the first word.
L-E-E.
So we have Lee Premge, and he is going to talk on August 16, 2025. And we interview most of our customers, and we use this on YouTube and in our own archives. And Lee has given us permission for that. And so we're going to ask Lee, where do you live right now, Lee?
I live on the west side of Evansville on Hillside Terrace.
Where did you go to grade school and high school?
Went to grade school at St. Anthony's, high school in Monterey,
What year did you graduate from high school?
1958.
All right, so you're the sixth graduating class in Monterey or in that category?
Yeah.
So he graduated with Jerry Browning. He was the best football player at Monterey ever, best athlete. He's 1 year younger than you.
Yeah, he's 1 year younger than me, and I did play football with him.
Was he pretty good?
Damn good.
You guys beat Wrights that year, 13-6, and nobody's ever beat Wrights. Monterey never beat another 20 years. Then they started beating him. But I bet, and they said Herman Byers wanted to quit after that. Was Hermie Will your coach then?
Yeah, Lynn Riddle.
Lynn Will, yeah. Okay, so we got a football star. What position did you play, Lee?
I played end and linebacker.
Middle linebacker or side linebacker?
Side.
So you had some speed too. You probably did the 40 in about 4.5 or 4.6.
Somewhere.
Did you ever tackle Jerry Browning?
No, but I had Artie Scheller fall on me.
Thought he fell on you?
Yeah.
He's like a bowling ball, wasn't he?
Well, Artie Scheller was about 300 pounds and played tackle right next to me.
Did you get up?
Yes, it looks like it.
Okay, so we've got an Air Force hat there. So after high school, tell us what you did as an occupation, or did you go right into the service then?
At high school, I volunteered, enlisted in the Air Force. Went to Keesler I went to Lackland for basic training. Then I went to Keesler in Biloxi, Mississippi for electronics training and radio repair. Then I went to Lincoln, Nebraska in SAC, Strategic Air Command. I repaired radios on B-47s and KC-97s. And I honorable discharge in 1962.
So you're with them about 4 years?
Yes.
Okay, let's go first to Lackland. That's in the northern part of Texas.
In San Antonio, Central Park.
Central Park, okay, and your basic training was about 9 weeks?
4.
4 weeks, and you learned how to do push-ups and chin-ups and wear the uniform?
Yeah.
So, was that very tough, or were you able to do that? You're out of football, that didn't bother you much.
No, it was in August, so it was pretty hot in Texas.
Did you lose any weight?
No.
Was it, did you get homesick?
No, because I'd been away from home before.
No. Why'd you were away from home before?
Well, people who lived down the street from me owned Global Lumber on First Avenue, and I would go with the guy that went to pick up the lumber down in Alabama and stuff. I'd ride in the semi. Then in the fall, we went to Illinois and picked up grain and brought it back to Agahart. So I was away from home quite a bit.
All right, so the name of that lumberyard wasn't Words, it was something else on First Avenue.
Yeah, it's right there before you get to Pigeon Creek going north on the east side.
Not there anymore.
Yeah, the building's there, but the lumberyard's not there.
I see. Now, you said you brought to Igard. Igard Gardens is a famous place here in Evansville. They created it around 2016. It's right by Harrison High School, but it was funded by Igard Mills. So Igard Mills is on First Avenue, right by Pigeon Creek on First Avenue. And it was really important for Evansville. They were bought out by General Mills about 1926. C. Meriwether Post sold it or bought it from us. So it was the biggest conglomerate we ever had in Evansville. But tell us about taking grain over there, because they had soft wheat, a different texture wheat, and they made Swan's Down cake mix. Can you tell us where you delivered and when you, and it's 14 stories high, they got 36 silos at Igor. Tell us, you brought the truck in and dumped it and come back, and what type of material did you bring to them?
I don't know. We would go to Illinois and pick up corn or wheat or whatever grain it was, and bring it in and dump it with the lift, dump out the semi-truck, and, but I don't know what happened to the grain when I did.
It went down sort of into the basement and then something took it upstairs, but you dumped your truck.
We dumped the truck and I was gone.
Okay, well, you talked about corn, but wheat, that's what they became famous for. It was called winter wheat here in the tri-state area. It had a different taste and a different texture. It was soft as the down of a swan. So it was called Swan Downs Cake Mix, and it was invented by one of the Igor brothers about 1885, and it won the World's Fair for its formula or its recipe. And it became famous, and so Igor Granary was one of our biggest granaries, one of the tops in the United States, or in the early part of the 1900s. So we were lucky to have that, and you as just a kid working with the truck, just saw you dump it in there, but it's important to the economy of Evansville. So then, that was before you went to Lackland, and they went to Lackland. Then you left Lackland after 4 weeks. Didn't get homesick because you're used to going out places. So then you went to Biloxi. How did you get to Biloxi, and how did you get to Lackland? By train or plane or truck or bus?
I think I flew on an airplane to Lackland.
And then from Lackland to Biloxi?
Yeah.
Same?
Yeah.
Probably you were Air Force, they let you do it, but a lot of other guys still went by train or bus.
Yeah, bus.
So at Biloxi, it was big, at Keystone Air Force Base, I used to get all the people from there, they would be part of what we call MAC flight for medical things. They come to Bethesda about 2 in the morning, they pick people up from everywhere. But Keystone and Biloxi is also known for a Seabees, and the Seabees had a big place down there. But Keystone's a big air base, and I think it's still active down in Biloxi.
I think it is, yes.
What did you learn in Biloxi? Electronics, or that was later?
No, it was electronics.
And what did you do for electronics? In the plane or with the radios or what?
Well, the radio was in the airplanes.
Yes.
I learned how to fix the radios in the airplanes, and then that's it.
I see. So what kind of radios they use? Just two-way radios, the same we're using today, or?
Well, there was ultra frequency UHF,
Yes.
and HF, which is high frequency, and intercom radios. So they had 2 different radios in the planes that they could speak, depending upon how far they needed to go. Because I could sit in Lincoln, Nebraska on the HF radio and talk to Europe.
So I hear too much noise out there. Red.
Okay, so we're talking about UHF and VHF. So actually pilots use that a lot today. VHF is a channel. I mean, I use it all the time to talk to the tower.
Yep.
And the higher frequencies used for IFR when you're doing in-flight radio. So IFR is used all the time around the country. They set up these VORs around the country. You probably had to deal with VORs, and now it's mostly by whatever it's. Well, it's different than the VORs. I don't use VORs as much, but you had to have the VORs working right with your UHF and all that, didn't you?
Well, I just worked on radio, so I don't have any idea what
But they were communicate with people.
Okay.
Did you have a lot of problems with the radios in the planes?
No, of course, we all had 2 radios. They were all tubes. There were no transistors.
Yeah.
And
We got a set of radios upstairs. I want to take you up there and let you look at them and advise us what we should do and how we should display them. You would probably know some are Korean War, World War II, and Vietnam era. You would probably be able to tell us. So I'll show them to you. We got a whole bunch of them.
okay.
Next thing, Lee, is you left their blocks, you got trained, then you went to where?
Lincoln, Nebraska.
What city?
Lincoln, Nebraska.
Lincoln, Nebraska. What base was there?
Lincoln Air Force Base. It was a SAC base.
And tell us what SAC means.
Strategic Air Command.
And that was created after World War II?
Probably.
I don't even know.
That was,
So what, there are two planes you mentioned, you worked for a K, so that was a refueler, K-97,
KC-97 was a prop-driven refueler,
hold a lot of gas, and it would
much.
refuel,
B-47s, B-52s, fighters.
so you'd make sure they could talk to each other, and they had a pipe coming out of there feeding the other one, and it was not an easy job. That's a K-97. We call them now, we have jets now, they're KC-35s, I think. There's a general, was it,
135s and KC-9s, I think, something like that.
did you have KC-35s when you were there, or they had,
No.
they weren't out yet?
Yes, they were.
Where they were out, they were the jets, right?
Yeah, they had those in Omaha at SAC headquarters.
Uh-huh. Now, SAC, if you remember when we had 9/11, President Bush went to a place in Oklahoma, I think, and hid when we thought we were going to war or something. I think that's Oklahoma at a SAC base where he talked to the world that way.
Well, maybe Tinker in Oklahoma.
It might have been Tinker. I've been Tinker. It's a big Air Force too.
It's in Oklahoma City.
Well, I don't know where he went. I think Oklahoma City, but I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So then you dealt with the C4 or the KC-97 or the 97 KC.
Yeah, KC-97 and the B-47.
And the B-47. Tell us a little bit about the B-47. It's a bomber 47.
It was a 6-engine, swift wing, high bomber that carried atomic bombs, or carried any kind of bombs. In fact, during the Cold War, we had B-47s on alert duty that were loaded with atomic bombs. That if Russia decided to do something, we would scramble the B-47s and KC-97s and go.
Tell us what scramble meant.
Scramble meant they would go, everybody would run out. We had to live in a underground bunker. All the pilots, maintenance crews, and when the klaxon horn sounded, we would all run to our vehicles and drove as fast as we could to the airplanes. The pilots and the crew would get up in the airplane. We would stand by to make sure all the radios would work. They'd fire the engines and wait for this to go signal. And fortunately, we never had a go signal. So while they were doing that, sitting there running the engine waiting for the go signals, they would check the radios out. And unfortunately, with my luck, I had one of them to go out. So while the engine was 10 feet from my head in full noise, I had to change a UHF radio, which was on the outside of a B-47. So,
This is the scariest time you ever had, probably.
well, no, it's you had to have a lift to get up there because it was on the side of the airplane. You couldn't reach it from the ground. So you had to get a lift to get up there, and then you had to pull it out of the rack and put another one in, tie it all down, hook it up, close the lid, and then go back down.
Wow.
So while you're doing that, the engine is probably 10 feet from the runner.
So that's a B-47. There were 6 engines. When did they change to the B-52? Because we think now the B-52 carries the big bombs and the anti-bomb,
Yeah.
or the bombs. I guess the B-47 was popular after the war, later
It
on.
was a predecessor to the 52.
I see. 6 engines, and the B-52 only has 4 engines.
Now it's got
8?
8.
It's got 8, okay. But the lift on that was a lot, maybe 70, 100,000 pounds?
Oh,
Or
I don't have any idea.
did you ever fly it, or you just fix the radios?
Well, I flew in a KC-97, because in the radio shop, you had to have one guy on flight duty in case you couldn't just duplicate the problem on the ground, you would fly for the radio. And when I did that, I would always go sit behind the pilot on takeoff, and then I would walk back to the boom pod and lay next to the boom operator and watch him refuel. And I flew one time in a B-47, and the B-47 was a 3-man crew, a navigator, pilot, co-pilot, and the 4th man, which worried me, was sitting down in where you come in the airplane.
And he's gonna bomb, he's gonna drop the bombs.
Yeah.
And did he have a bomb sight? Did you see his bomb
No,
sight?
no, I didn't, because you're sitting down below, all you can see, you're sitting here at the feet of the co-pilot is right here,
Yeah.
and you can't see anything.
Was that a pretty big plane? The B-47?
Yeah,
I've never seen one, but it's pretty good size.
it's not quite as big as a 52.
I see. Then you also talked about the KC-97. When you were up in the air with that, did you ever watch them do the refueling?
Oh yeah, that's why we're laying the boom pod.
Tell us about how you drop that, how you do that
Well, the
refueling.
boom operator had handles,
I see.
and the boom went lower, and he had handles to move it around up and down, and then the jets had a hole in it, well, probably about that big around, where he would get the boom, have them there, and then he would push the button, and they would go in, like you put your gas hose in your gas tank in your car.
How do you do that though? Because you're going probably 300 miles an hour,
Mm-hmm.
and you had to guide that. Didn't that wind push that stick?
Well, there was two pieces on each side, one on each side of the boom that kind of steadied it.
I see. And it would come out, it would just like it would project out of your plane, then he'd pull all the way back in your plane. Didn't stay out there.
No, and they'd come down, and then they'd raise it back up again.
And when they split from each other, what did you pull the gas out? Did they couldn't close, I guess they had to close the lid to the gas on the other plane.
B-47 had a switch or something that you could close it.
They never had any accidents while you saw that, did you?
No, but when you pulled the boom out, a lot of times some of the JP4 with scatters, and they get on the windshield, and they do the windshield wiper.
Yeah. So what altitude were you doing at? 10,000 or 20,000 feet, or pretty high?
It's pretty high, and I don't have any reason, because I was interested in watching them do that down there.
That's amazing. I guess they didn't do that technology in World War II, I don't think. Maybe they did, I've never looked it
No, I
up.
don't think they had World War II, that was it after that, but on the B-52 and the B-47, if you laid in the boom pod, you could see the wings were actually, they had I think it was a 6-foot movement of the wings from when they were on the ground or when they was in the air.
Why they move that much? For the bomb bay to open, or just
No, it's just
to put your flaps in and
they
they
already had
are?
the flaps, the wings were flexible, that they
Yes.
could move that much. I guess because of the aerodynamics or something, I don't know anything about that, but I know on the ends of the wings, they had little struts that went down, had wheels on them, so that would keep the wings down.
And the wheels stayed on them, they pulled the wheels back up, right, when they took off, yeah. A lot of run strip, probably 8,000 feet long for that, because it's a heavy plane with
Right,
it was
yeah.
loaded. Yeah.
Well, when they had jet assisted takeoff, where they were strapped, behind the bomb bay, they were strapped little bottles of, like a jet engine, little bottles, and when a 47 was fully loaded and full of bombs, it had a tough time getting off. So as it was going down the runway, they would fire those jet assisted takeoff bottles in order to get enough speed to get up.
Oh. Did you ever fly from there up to Minot or up in the North Dakota where they had all the silos to protect us from Russia? They also had a lot of B-52s up there lined up that would go on alert. Did you ever see those fields?
Well, in Lincoln, Nebraska, we had Minuteman missile silos. And in order to get my flying time in, I decided that I would take a helicopter ride to the silos. So I went out to different silos around there. But you're talking in Minot that when I went overseas to TDY, which is temporary duty to Maroon, Spain, well, we flew into Minot and then got on a KC-135 and flew to Maroon, Spain.
But you switched planes there, so you did get to see Minot.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of silos there, like there were at Lincoln, and they're hiding ballistic missiles that,
Yeah.
and they're the defense of the country. And when the B-50, they 2 or 3 times do a practice, and the B-52s, they say they get up every 45 seconds. That's pretty quick, and they get the silos ready to shoot the missiles.
Yeah,
They
big concrete,
opens up.
yeah, big slabs are moved like that.
Talk to those guys that worked that, it seemed like pretty boring. They had 2 down the bottom of those silos, and they didn't do anything all day.
Yeah.
And they had both had guns, and they couldn't push the button without a special
Code.
agreement, code, and both of them agree, otherwise they would shoot you. You didn't see those guys, did you?
No,
They paid them, those guys extra for doing that, I wouldn't wanna
I
sit
don't
there
know.
all day. What'd you do after in '62, what'd you do for a living here in Evansville? And what base, are you on a VFW or a American Legion, or part of you part of that, place on the west side?
and that's,
AMVETS, you're AMVET, that AMVET, so AMVETS is an organization that was created about 1950s or so, it's to help disabled American vets. And your other half, or somebody used to say the prayer every time, didn't she? Somebody would say the prayer, maybe it was you, at every Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Last name Prom, same one.
yeah, yeah. You know, after I got out of the Air Force in 1962, jobs were pretty scarce in Evansville. So I found a job in Bloomington, Indiana, repairing TV tuners for Sarkis Tarzan.
For who?
Sarkis Tarzan. They made TV tuners for GEs, RCAs that you had to go up click. And
They made a lot of TVs in Bloomington, that place is gone.
Yeah.
But was it RCA, or what was the company
it
that?
was our Sarkis Tarzan was a TV tuner place, but I think RCA had a plant.
And a lot of people, because I've worked up there, a lot of people worked at TV plant up there, it was really big, so all those got these tubes in it, so you were helping with, because your radio experience helped you do that, you did a lot of parts. And who gave you a paycheck, RCA or somebody else?
Sarkis Tarzan.
Tarzan, they owned RCA?
No,
Stars,
Sarkis Tarzan.
Circus Tarzan, oh,
It was just a TV plant, but they just made TV tuners.
huh.
And then I went to Syracuse, New York, because we had a bunch of tuners for GE in Syracuse that didn't work, so I had to go up and replay those. Then I went to Greenville, Tennessee, where Magnavox had a big TV plant to fix tuners.
So up in Syracuse, that's where the Orange Men are, you call them the Orange Men, so when you were up there, Jimmy Brown was still playing. He played in the '60s. You might have watched him
I
play
didn't have
football.
time.
Yeah, you didn't have time to watch football,
No.
but he was a famous football player with the
Yeah.
Cleveland Browns. We started
Yeah.
Syracuse, and
Yeah.
a guy named Little did it afterwards from Syracuse.
Yeah.
And then where did you go now? You went to Greenville. Greenville, South Carolina has become big in the auto industry. A lot of BMWs, Mercedes, everything, they have blown up in population just because the auto
The
industry
Magnavox TV plants was there.
was there. So you went there, you just kept following these TVs everywhere, didn't you?
Yeah.
Then you left there and come back here, or you go somewhere else?
No, I left Bloomington, and I got a job in Newark, Ohio, repairing the Minuteman missile guidance system.
Where's Newark, Ohio?
Right outside of Columbus.
Oh.
It's a big, I don't know what they call it, a big repair base for a lot of different military
Missiles and stuff, yeah.
military stuff. It was a guidance system for there.
Because northwest of there is a place called Lima or Lima,
Yeah.
Ohio. They helped make the Abrams tank, and they're the tank capital
Yeah, yeah.
of the United States. It's probably north of where you were, about 100 miles.
Yeah, yeah. Well, from there, I went back to Evansville. I got a job at IBM, repairing IBM machines. I did that for, 17 years. And in 13 years, I went to sales, and I retired 31 years ago from IBM.
So IBM had a plan, they had one of their buildings over on 6th Street, the school system, it's right by Wellman Clinic.
No, there was a repair job on Virginia and Main Street.
Oh, Virginia and Maine.
That was
Okay.
repairs. I repaired-
Virginia and Maine is right by,
Used to be Helen Cafeteria right across the street. Had a car.
not Helen's, is that Helen's there?
No,
Helen?
it wasn't Elms, it was
It was Naughty Pine.
Naughty Pine.
Naughty Pine, so it's catty-corner Naughty Pine.
Yeah.
That's a 3-story building, it's still there
Yeah,
too.
the building's
It's
still
still there. And they've been a lot of different businesses, It's 3 stories high, it's a nice, pretty building, right on the corner there.
Yeah, and then
Then if you sold for IBM, you had to wear a blue suit.
I had suits, white shirts, and ties.
That's all you had to do, you called the men in blue. It had to be white, everything had to be the same, it was a nice blue suit, and the tie probably had to be blue too.
We had, even when we were repair work, we had to have white shirts and ties on.
They had that, it was like military, just like you could jump from one military to the other. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's something. And then another IBM building was downtown Maine and Riverside too, but that was, I
Yeah,
think,
that-
administrative.
That was after I left.
After you left, then they moved that office to downtown.
Yeah.
Huh.
And moved off of Virginia Street, and Main Street down to downtown.
Did you work with Creditor? Creditor's computers worked with that, and Morris Plan and American General. You don't remember them?
Yeah, I didn't,
Do work at their place. IBM helped start the Social Security. Social Security started in 1935, and they needed a computer to back it up on the numbers. And IBM, that's where they got big, because the government backed them in making computer numbers. That you didn't do much Social Security work, probably.
no, I didn't. When I left here, I moved to Ohio, and I went into sales and I moved.
What city in Ohio?
Van Wert, which is about 20 miles from west of Lima.
West of line, right on the Indiana border,
Yeah,
right?
it was about halfway between Fort Wayne and Lima, Ohio.
Yeah, near Muncie over there, but yeah.
No, Muncie was down south.
South, yeah. But over there, I've flown over there. Neil Armstrong is from right there.
Yeah,
He grew up right there, and the Wright brothers are right up near there, over in the Indiana side.
yeah, there's a,
Airport named after Neil Armstrong too, and Wright brothers evolved from there too.
yeah, that, Armstrong is, I've been to his place, but that's when I went into sales, and that's when I sold computers and stuff in Ohio. And,
Well, I'll tell you, you've been really interesting. Jeffrey, you got other questions for him about things about Evans, what he did, or any other questions?
It's been fascinating.
Yeah,
listening
really,
to you.
you've had a lot of different employments in different places, but, you know, you think of it, the military helped you because you learned electronics, you had 3 years of electronics, pretty tough electronics, and all of a sudden, I think they got you your other jobs.
oh, yeah, there's no doubt in my mind, if I had not had the electronics training in the Air Force that they gave me free, why, I would never have been there. Plus, the Air Force and the military gave me the GI Bill, which I graduated from ISUE.
So, the GI Bill, I used it a little bit, my dad used it. After World War II, it became famous because all these guys came back and they all got to go to, and it changed about 1973, so you didn't get as much money, but if you got in after that. But if you look at it, IBM was one of our most prestigious companies during that era, so you were with the big boys in computers in their big time in the 60s, 70s, or 80s, or 70s, 80s, and really the Air Force was your catapult making this happen. So, you know, we don't realize how much education and practical education individuals get by being in the service. It's not just the Air Force, other services do the same. Do you have anything to talk about our freedom and what our next generation thinks about how they protect our freedoms and how the freedoms are important?
I think they have no clue. They have no clue what it's like. You know, they've always been footloose and fancy free. And, you know, I had 2 boys that they didn't go in the military. But these kids today, I have 3 grandsons, and I have 1 great-grandson that was just born, so they don't have that idea.
I think part of, and this is my bias, but I think every kid should work on a farm for a year, and every kid should work with the military for a year or 2. Israel, they had the women, and everybody go for 18 months. But I think we have moved the freedom a little bit too far on the pendulum, as opposed to being able to say yes, sir, no, sir, get a job done.
Yeah.
All the independent thinking we've instilled in this next generation also has to get a job done. And I think, and the freedom, I didn't really realize how much I cherished our country until I worked in a third world country. And when you work in a third world country, everything takes 10 times long to get it done.
Yeah.
And if you go look at India, China, Tibet, and especially Tibet, those things are happening right now that happened during Hitler's time. And it's happening in the world today, and our freedoms of speech, of religion, of writing, those freedoms are so valuable that you can't get that in a lot of other countries, and kids don't realize it because outside, out of mind, they have always been given those freedoms. And if I'm a woman, it's 1 out of a 20 chance of being born in the United States. And then women, Jeffrey, you included, have a lot more freedoms than you would if you were born in another country. And women have a lot of rights, more than they do in other countries. They're in the military, they're everywhere, but they have a lot more respect. Some women in other countries don't have any respect.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you were talking about come off the farm. I was in high school, summertime job, baling hay.
Yeah, I did my kids, we did it one day, and they said, we don't want to come back, Dad. but you know, in World War II, the sergeant would say, I'll take one farmer over 50 city boys. Partly because in a farm, everything breaks and you have to fix it.
Yeah.
You can't just go to the shop, buy a new one. You know, the city boys don't know that. And they jump in the military, these farm boys have already been hunting all their life. It's so many things that those things teach you. They teach you what a cow is, and where the wheat comes from, where the bread comes from, where your corn comes from. The kids, a lot of them don't know that.
Oh, good, yeah, totally, I agree.
But the military's been good for our country. It's a good training ground for a lot of us. It teaches you how to deal with other people. They don't give you anything free. You had to show your talent to do the electrics, and you didn't get into those companies you got into, RCA, IBM, Magnavox, without having them look at your military record, but also you had to prove it. And I can go learn it out of the book, but I usually don't know what to do. What you had is practical experience, 3 or 4 years in the military, that you get there and they knew you could do the job.
Yeah.
You didn't know it, you didn't graduate school, you knew it, you know. Well, Lee, it's a great interview, and we'll give you a copy of this, mail to you in a week or two, and maybe your kid or your family can have it, you know, grandkids hear this interview and let them understand a few things, and we'll put it in our archives and have it on our website.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay.